Hello and welcome back to my channel Welshman Reviews. Today I am reviewing The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. This is the 8th installment in the Conjuring universe and the 3rd in the main Conjuring storyline with Ed and Lorraine. So, a little bit about the plot is Ed and Lorraine, after a failed exorcism, have to help a young man who murders someone. So when he goes on trial, they've got to help convince a jury that he was possessed by a demonic presence while he done it. There's a little bit more into the movie about curses and satanic rituals, but yeah, this is a bit of a step away from what the other two Conjuring movies were. Yes, they had a bit of possession and a bit of demonic presence, but this does feel totally different to the other two. I think mainly because of the setting. The first two Conjurings were pretty much based in one place, so you had a house in each one, the one in America and then the one in Britain. And so this one is more, doesn't really take place in one place. It takes place in one kind of setting, like location, which I can't remember what the place is called now, but it kind of takes place over 2 or 3 different locations in that little town. In the town it does. So first thing I'm going to go over is what I thought was bad in the movie, and the first one is the direction. This movie was directed by Michael Chavez, who also directed The Curse of La Llorona, which is also connected to the Conjuring universe, and unfortunately he doesn't have the same skill in his direction compared to James Wan. With James Wan, you know you're watching a James Wan movie. He's got brilliant camera work, and some of the settings and some of the direction he does is really good. But unfortunately for Michael Chavez, to me it's just, you're like your bog standard horror. There's nothing really special happens with the direction. The camera works fine, but no sweeping shots like James Wan has. So yeah, that was a big letdown for this movie, to be honest. Next one is, the story felt a little bit too Hollywood for me. Like the other two felt a bit more grounded. Seems they were situated in one location. Fair enough. The ends are full on blown out of proportion, to be honest, and all that. It is with the other two, but with this one, yeah, to me it felt more like a bigger Hollywood movie than the other two. Felt more, not indie, but not indie, but obviously not as big as what some Hollywood movie. This one felt a bit too Hollywood for me. Also, the jump scares were very predictable. Don't get me wrong, it does have some good ones, which I'll go into my good in what I thought was good in the movie, but you're like a bog standard horror movie with some of the jump scares in it and all that, where you knew they were coming, and like maybe it's a loud bang or something like that. It's like, to me that feels cheap. It does. So yeah, it was a bit disappointed with that and all that. Also, the supporting characters weren't as good as the previous movies. I kind of liked all the supporting characters in the previous two Conjurings. They all had their little parts to play, and they done it really well. But in this one, the only real couple you have are, you have the little kid in the beginning who was possessed in the beginning. He's alright, and his sister, who's the boyfriend of the young man that's in jail for murder. She was okay, but nothing special. Arnie, the character Arnie, who's the young man who's in jail for the murder, he's really good in it. He's the best supporting character, which I'll come into my goods. But yeah, you have others. There's like a police officer in there, doesn't really do much. You have I don't know if it's a reverend or someone in the jail. He's all right, but nothing special, to be honest. Then you have another ex-father, who's not ex-father but a retired father and all that, who's part of the main story and all that. And then you have like the one main antagonist for the movie and all that, which you don't really see much of that character, unfortunately. I'm not really going to say much about it because this is a non-spoiler review, which I should have said in the beginning. It's a non-spoiler review, so I'm not going to say much about that. But yeah, they're a little bit disappointed with the supporting characters. The setting is also a bit of a miss for me. They don't really stay too much in one location. They kind of spread it around, they do. So like in where Arnie, the guy who gets possessed, where he lives, there's a little bit there. It's like a board, like a kennel kind of place. It is. So you got there. It's a little bit in the jail, but and then the retired father's house. So it's kind of spreads around. So they don't really fixate on one place like the other two. I know it's a different story, and this is how supposedly it went down. But obviously you got to take the true, based on true story, versus a pinch of salt, to be honest, because they do over exaggerate on some stuff. But yeah, it kind of misses the thing for me where they could have probably maybe stayed a bit more into the retired father's house or the jail a little bit more. And atmosphere, apart from the beginning, which is the best part of the movie, the failed exorcism of the child in the beginning. Apart from that, the rest of the movie kind of falls flat for atmosphere, to be honest. It's, like I said, it's cheap jump scares here and there and all that, but yeah, it's very very disappointing. I would probably prefer the whole film about that beginning of the kid being of the exorcism of the kid, to be honest. I think that was a more compelling story, personally, and all that. I know this is supposedly a true story of how they used, it was the first time in American history they used demonic possession as a defence in court, but they really don't even go into that much. They say it once, and then more towards the end of the movie then. So yeah, they don't really delve into that. I would probably prefer a movie for the beginning of the thing, which is surprisingly, because I think I said in my last review for Army of the Dead, which I would have preferred them to do a movie in the beginning montage than the rest of the movie. But that's my bad. So we're going to go on to my good. So first of all, Ed and Lorraine. So was it Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, who play them two, do a stellar job as usual. They are the highlight of these movies. They're brilliant actors, and their chemistry on screen is really good. You really tell that they make you sure that they're a loving couple on TV, on film. So that is very nice indeed. The character Arnie, I forgot it. I did write the guy's name down, but I lost it. But the guy who played him, he was really good as well. He showed really good emotion and when he was possessed and when he's getting tricked by the demon to do some killing or trying to kill himself and all that. So yeah, them three really do steal the show for this one. But everyone else was kind of bland, and yeah, I weren't too bothered with them. On to my next one, and is, well, I said jump scares in the thing, and I'll go into the atmosphere as well. The beginning of the movie was, like I said, the best part of the thing. It had amazing atmosphere, really spooky, got you on the edge of your seat. Also had a couple of nice little jump scares as well that you didn't really see coming and all that. But yeah, that for me was how the movie should have been overall. It should have been probably that. Maybe they didn't do that because it might have been a little bit too much like the other two movies. But that was by far the best part of the movie. Everything else was kind of downhill. It had some good parts here and there, and I didn't mind the ending a little bit. That wasn't too bad. They did have a nice little plot in it for Ed, that in the failed exorcism in the beginning, the kid who's possessed jumps on him and the demon kind of gives him a heart attack. So he's struggling for the rest of the movie, and he plays it really well of someone who's had a heart attack where he can't really climb upstairs that quick. He's out of breath really quickly and all that. But if you know the story of Ed and Lorraine, you know he's not, he's spoiled, you know he's not really going to die in the movie and all that. So it's kind of a bit of a letdown there that they use that in the movie, but it's not much of a dread, unfortunately, if you know what happens to the character, to the actual people who they are in real life. Also, I did like the story, because they went. I know some of it was a bit like, oh, okay, and it's not similar to the thing, but they deal more with devil worshippers and all that in this one, so it's kind of a little bit more terror and all that, and a bit more dread in the movie and all that. So you're not just dealing with a possessed thing, you're actually dealing with a proper human being who is doing this curse. It is. And so yeah, that was a bit it was nice. That was a nice little not difference from the thing, which each of these Conjuring movies should be like that. So they don't all have to be possessions and all that. And but yeah, the cult of the Ram, I think they mention in it, because that's who the ex-father or the retired reverend, he dealt with them and all that, so that's why they go to him for a little advice over what they find about it. So I would have liked to see a little bit more about that, to be honest. So, but yeah, it's not too bad mixing up a little bit for that. And like I said, my last good point is the beginning. The beginning is phenomenal. It really is. Grips you, gets edgy your seat. It does, and yeah, some really good atmosphere and all that. But unfortunately, the rest of the movie lets it down. It is. So my overall thoughts are great acting from the three characters I said. Some good atmosphere in the beginning of the movie, unfortunately let down for the rest of the movie. A couple of good jump scares in the beginning, again let down later on in the movie. And the unfortunately the director wasn't the best, unfortunately for me. But overall, I'll give this movie, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I will. Average and all that. It's the worst out of the three Conjuring movies, but it's a lot better than The Nun, Curse of La. This is a better movie for Michael than it was for The Curse of La Llorona and some of the Annabelle movies as well and all that. But yeah, I would put this as 4th, 5th best in the series. So yeah, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. And hopefully they'll leave it for the Ed and Lorraine. They kind of, I don't see what else they can do now, because this was built as being their biggest case and their hardest, and the worst one in their exists, and what they looked into and all that. That's what I've read about it and all that. So I can't really see them making it, unless this one makes a bit of money, obviously, because sequels are all about money. It's not about, oh, will they make one or won't they. If it makes money, they'll make a sequel. It's what they do with most of the films. So yeah, I give it a 6 out of 10. If you like this review, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment and tell me what you feel, if you've seen the movie and what you think of it down below. And if you want to see more reviews like this, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye.